I was cooked. In January, I sat my A-level mock exams and I came out with mostly B's. Now for context, the real exams would determine which university I'd go to for the next 4 years of my life. Maybe because I was arrogant or maybe just a little stupid, I'd only applied to universities that wanted straight A's or even A stars. Now you'd think at this point with just a few months left before the actual exams, I'd pull my finger out. I'd get a grip and actually start doing some real work. But no, I spent the next 3 months doing fuck all, making stupid YouTube videos like this one, playing football and video games, occasionally putting in like an hour or so, but not taking studying seriously at all. Until the 1st of May creeped around the corner and I realised I had less than a month until my first exam. So, as I said, I was cooked. And as the panic slowly started setting in, I realised I was going to have to start taking studying seriously. And the first day went pretty well. I was feeling so motivated. I just watched the David Goggins video and I was ready to shock the world with this academic comeback. And then came the second day. I sat down at my desk and in that moment I knew in the pit of my stomach the last thing I wanted to be doing was studying. It literally felt, when there's like this invisible wall that's just like holding you back from actually doing anything. Now usually I would have just said, well, I guess I'm just not feeling it today, I don't want to burn myself out, and missing one day is not even that bad, right? But today I didn't have that luxury, I didn't have a choice. There were literally 24 days until my first exam, and I knew that to even have a chance of getting the grades I wanted, every single day would have to be a big push. I couldn't afford to lose even one day, and so as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. I had to develop a system to somehow force myself to study every single day, even when I didn't feel like it. There was just no other way. So that's what I did. Some days I felt motivated, but on those days when I really just could not be bothered, I just went through this 4-step system and found a way to get myself through it. And because of the system, I ended up managing to study for 5 to 6 hours every single day in the lead up to the exams and between in the exam period. We'll have to wait a few weeks to get the results. I'm feeling pretty confident. But anyway, the most important thing was that I found a system to force myself to study. That's what I want to share with you in this video. The never fall off study system has 4 parts. First is the weird mindset you need to adopt so that you never skip a day again. Second is more of like a general change that you implement into your daily schedule so that you never fall off your consistency again in the future. And then 3 and 4 are quick mind tricks that you can use as a last resort. So if you're watching this video right now procrastinating studying, these will get you out of this rut fast. Starting off with step 1, mindset. I used to always feel so guilty and embarrassed because there were some days when I just couldn't get myself to study. And when I looked at all these study influencers online, when I heard the smart kids in my class talking, they were saying oh, I studied for 6 hours, 7 hours, 12 hours a day. And I thought there was just something wrong with me. But the truth is there wasn't. Everyone has days where they're tired, they're burnt out, they're unmotivated, and they just can't get themselves to do the work. That's completely normal. They just don't show it to you. But the weird mindset that completely flipped this on its head for me was this. Okay, if everyone has these bad days, then if I find a way to somehow still do the work on my bad days, then that gives me an advantage over everyone else. This is a chance for me to get ahead. It might sound kind of toxic, but ultimately life is just a big competition for the top grades, for the university places, ultimately for the best jobs. So instead of viewing these bad days as something annoying, something that you don't like, reframe it as an opportunity. This is a chance for you to get a competitive advantage over everyone else. Some people naturally just have a superpower, some incredible talent. Maybe they're really athletic, creative, or some sort of genius. But for us normal people, we might not have any of this. But what we can do is focus on what we can control. Consistency. If you find a way to stay consistent even on these bad days, then you will very quickly catch up and even overtake those smarter students who don't put in the work. Make consistency your superpower. Step 2, make success a habit. You might have just heard what I said in step 1 and got all motivated, hyped up, excited. Don't rely on motivation. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings, they come and go. And this is exactly why you're in the situation in the first place. You're waiting to feel like it to go and study. You're almost waiting for permission. Feelings, they can change day to day. Some days you feel good, some days you feel bad. We need something more reliable than feelings, since we have to study every single day. Something that will get you to study automatically, even when you don't feel like it. We need to make studying a habit. Now, I'm guessing you never have to force yourself to brush your teeth. You don't watch YouTube videos on how to brush your teeth when you don't feel like it. You don't have to feel motivated. And that's because brushing your teeth is a habit. It's so deeply ingrained in your daily routine that you just do it without thinking. And this is how we have to go about studying. So going back to the story I was telling at the start when I was panicking and rushing for my A-levels, I actually managed to figure this out pretty early, thankfully. So I created a set routine, one that I'd follow every single day, literally like a robot. And the magic of this, if you had the same routine every single day, is it reduces the mental friction to the task. There are less decisions to be made. I don't have to be thinking like, oh, should I study now or later? Should I do it before I do this or after? Should I study this topic or that? Because you've already made all these decisions in advance. And now you can literally just turn your brain off and go on autopilot, let habit take over. It's so much less friction. Literally all you have to do is sit down and start studying. It will take a few days of following this routine. Like, it might be a bit difficult the first day or the second day, but once you've done it for a few days, it really does start to become automatic, and then it almost becomes easy. My particular routine, I'm not saying this is the best, this is just what I did, was I'd wake up at 6 a.m, I'd go outside and do a few stretches in the sun because that's kind of good for you, and then about 6:15, 6:20, I'd be sitting down and I'd start studying. Literally just like a 3-step routine, I guess. The key is that you've planned everything out in advance. When you're going to study, are you going to do it after this and before that, whatever, and then what are you going to study? Exactly, plan out what you're going to do, so then you don't have to think about that when you go and do it. And something that helps is to try and make it as soon as possible to after you wake up. Even if that means waking up like an hour or two earlier just so you can get in a bit of studying before you go to school. Because you know, if you go to school or you go to work or do something like that and you come back, you've already had to do so many things and your brain is tired. And then it's just so hard, you have to push against the flow to get yourself to study. But if you wake up in the morning, your brain is fresh. You can just drop studying right into your morning routine and it becomes automatic. You can just get it out of the way. Literally like brushing your teeth or going for a shower. Step 3, gamify it. Why are video games fun? There are a lot of potential valid reasons. It gives you like this escape from the real world. It lets you do things that you could never do. But I'd argue one of the biggest reasons is actually this. They track everything. Your skill level, your XP, your overall rating. There is always a clear progression to get better. You can see exactly where you're at and where you want to go. There's level 1, then level 2, then level 3. And when you can see yourself getting better and how close you are to the final goal, you get that dopamine release, that bit of excitement, motivation, and satisfaction when you achieve different things. But then what do we have when we study? All you do is you think, I have to study integration. I have to study biology. It's just one big task, one block. There's no progression. It's just one big boss level. Not quite as fun, is it? So here's how you turn anything into a video game. Level 1 is always the same. Level 1 is to actually split the rest of the task into levels. So look at the task and figure out, okay, what are the logical steps I have to take to complete this task? What is the plan? So let's say if you have to write an essay. Level 1, you sit down and plan the levels out. And the levels would be Level 2, you go and research information on the topic. Level 3 is you plan out the rough structure of the essay. Level 4 is you write the introduction. Level 5, you write the first paragraph, etc, until you're done. If you have a test coming up, then level 2 will be to read the first topic. Level 3 will be to cover it up and try and summarize everything from memory. Level 4 will be to do past exam questions on that topic. Just get a piece of paper and break down the tasks that you should be doing right now. Break that down into levels, either on a piece of paper or in your phone notes app or something like that. And this way, now you have some quick wins, right? If you do level 1, you can see, okay, well, I'm already like 10% of the way to the goal. And you get that little bit of excitement, that dopamine, that satisfaction that can push you through. It gives you a clear progression. It doesn't seem so scary anymore because you're just like, okay, it's not one big block. All I have to do is this one level and then this one level. I can do this only a small thing because you've broken it down. All you have to do is commit to the first level. And the good thing is, even if you don't manage to complete the entire thing, you can see very clearly how far you've come and how much you have left to do. So for example, if right now I sit down, I have to write this essay and I literally just can't be asked, so I'd say, okay, I'll just do level 1 and level 2. Level 1, I'll just plan out the other levels, and then level 2, I'll go and research and gather a bit of information. And then I can see very clearly, next time I can come back and I can say, okay, I've done level 1 and level 2, let's just carry on from level 3. And next time you can drop in and do level 4. And it's like an actual video game. You don't have to sit there and grind it all out. You can just keep coming back to it, chipping away until finally you beat the game. And then there's step 4, positive reassociation. So far these tips have been like quick tricks, little hacks that might help you quite a lot. But on those worst days when there's just like that invisible wall that feels like it's stopping you from even starting to open the book or write down the note, this is usually the only thing that will get you through. What is your why? Zoom out for a second, past the test or the exam deadline or whatever it is. Why are you doing all of this? What is your big goal, your long-term vision? Visualize 1 year, 3 years, 5 years into the future. Where do you want to be? What university or job do you want to have? What does your day-to-day routine look like? Who can you help once you get there? Maybe it's your parents, you make them proud, you can start to pay them back. Maybe it's your younger brother or sister so you can inspire them. Maybe a family member struggled with this disease so you went to become a doctor so you can go and help people like them. It's just a random story I made up on the spot. Keep that image in your mind and now identify exactly how this task that you're doing right now, the homework, the exam preparation, identify exactly how this is going to help you get there to your final big long-term goal. X will help me do Y because Z. Studying this topic right now will mean that I'm confident on these questions, so if it comes up in the exam I'll be able to answer them, so I'll get a better grade, so I'll get into this university, I can go into this career and this job, and I can start supporting my family. Tie the short-term task you're doing right now to the long-term vision, because it can be really easy to like detach the two. You might feel like what you're doing today is so small it has no impact on the rest of your life, and then it just seems meaningless. That's why you lack motivation, because you can't see the bigger picture. But you've got to realize that what you're doing right now, it will get you closer to your goal, even if it's very, very slightly. But when you add that up over every single day, those little tiny improvements, eventually you'll realize that you've achieved it. You've got to that goal. You've got to that long-term vision. You can do it. So whenever you're struggling and you feel like this is meaningless, just bring that big vision to your mind and identify exactly how this is getting you closer to it. And that really is the secret to unlimited study motivation. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. Peace.